There we go. We are back to 36 Better on Draft podcast, 1 week away from our 5-year anniversary. Want to give out a huge shout out to our sponsors who've pretty much been there since the beginning. That's the Tuna Liquor over in Rochester Hills, just south of M59 Road on Rochester Road. Go say hi to Jack. Get some great beers, as well as starting off with what I'm drinking for segment 2. I have a single beer. This is a Boompas Brown from North Center Brewing, which is in Northville, Michigan, just south of Baseline Road over in Northville. It is on my keg, and therefore that's why there is a giant fucking glass of it, and I love it.
That's one beer, huh?
This is one beer. One beer. I learned this from you, Dan.
That's true. That is very true.
I'm pretty much every single rule that I broke in Jim's professional drinking book is rules that I probably broke because of you. So
I guarantee it.
With that in mind, Dan, what are you drinking for segment 2?
I've got another wet snout, and I re-upped on the Bloody Mary. This is doing good tonight.
All right, and Nick, what's segment 2 drinking for you?
Still drinking my Nutter Your Business Stout. I didn't have a chance to go get anything yet because I was too busy fighting with Amazon buying the book. Apparently, my VPN isn't letting me buy anything from Amazon. So,
well, that's what you get for trying to hide your shady shit,
right?
Yeah. The only good thing that the VPN actually brought for me since I've had it was being able to watch all the episodes of Schitt's Creek without it going to
Netflix
on demand. Yeah, Netflix. It wasn't the most recent and final season wasn't on the American Netflix yet. So.
Well, speaking of shady shit, Ed, what are you drinking?
I got the.
Are you in your basement?
Yeah, I'm in my basement. There's my water heater, and there's my storage and shit. But anyway, I got the breakfast seltzer, the mimosa one. I had the Bellini one last night, and I like that one a little bit better. And I just popped the coffee one, and I can already smell the coffee notes and stuff. So just trying to finish up hard seltzer summer.
Is that where you teach from too?
What's that?
Is that where you teach from too? Is your basement?
No, I don't know what you're talking about regarding that, but yeah. So I had 50 seltzers this summer, 50 different seltzers this summer for hard seltzer.
Whole lineup from Oddside.
I did okay, so there's just too much. Like I only had 3 because I mean, come on, they did Diggity Dank Juice or whatever. There's all those flavors. They do those creamsicle ones. There's all those flavors. I can't keep up with all that shit. They were good. Don't get me wrong, but
you know who had some sneaky good seltzers this year, and I don't know if you got a chance to try any of them, but Speciation.
Yes. Yep.
I'm hoping that I can go pick some stuff up from there tomorrow when I head out to that side of the state. But they are just like the whole hard seltzer thing took over like New England, that everyone had them, everyone started canning them, everyone had them. Dan, are you seeing that over in Arizona where like every single brewery has their own seltzer?
Oh yeah, it's quite popular out here. You see a lot of them coming in from California too. Even the known guys who are making nothing but barrel-aged stuff like Bottle Logic are making seltzers and shipping them everywhere. So it seems to be the thing everywhere, no matter where you go.
I want to know what Bottle Logic seltzer.
You know what I had? The seltzer that I had that I thought was amazing was the Bamboozies from Easter Market or Ferndale Project, I think. Oh my gosh. It's a fruited seltzer, so it doesn't drink like a seltzer, but man, are those amazing.
Some good stuff going on.
I tell you what, I mean, I definitely, when I was doing a lot of travel for work, I was hitting a lot of the seltzers pretty hard because it was the easiest thing to drink, something I can drink in my hotel. And I remember my the accounting person who was looking at it is like, why am I going to pay for this 12-pack of seltzer? I'm like, well, you offer to pay for one drink per night, and like I can go buy like a $20 cocktail, or you can buy this $15 12-pack and you don't have to buy anything else. And they're like, well, when you put it that way, I'm like, I know how to talk. I'm like, I'd rather, because the thing is that I don't want to go out and drive, and even if I'm not going to be drunk, like in a neighborhood that I'm not familiar with, in an area I'm not familiar with, with people that I'm out of town with out of town plates, like I'm an easy target for a .04, operating, near the influence or whatever the hell you have alcohol in you, but it's not drunk driving.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely, we're still going around. We went through Nick, Dan, Ed, Robert. What are you drinking?
So right now I have switched over. The Sazerac is now done, which that thing has absinthe in it, and I am typically not the biggest absinthe fan because I do not really love the taste of black licorice. I mean, it kind of works with that drink, but I probably won't do it again. But I've now cracked open an old fashioned, which I now am sitting here with a particular straw that is sitting in this old fashioned, which this is not normally what you would do with an old fashioned, is to drink it through a straw. But we had a little shipment that came in the mail straight from Australia to the last, I think it actually came on yesterday that showed up. I guess somebody out there has been taking a look at our Instagram page and sent us a message and said they would ship these things out to us. And I said, sure, why not? Of course, the whole name of these things is a little risque, but, it's Australia. I guess you can't expect anything else. So I now have in front of me a box of unicorn cocks, which basically it is exactly as that box kind of looks. It is a straw. It is a metal straw. That's I'm looking at Ed and I can't talk anymore now because it's just like, it is ridiculous.
Can I call dibs on the purple one?
This is it goes like purple throughout. This is like it like you spin this thing around, it is an assortment of colors, which pretty much leads on to the whole thing about being, unicornery. But basically what these things say is on the side of the box, as you will see right there, each suck on a unicorn cock is one less plastic straw in our oceans. So they basically really was running with this thing, with this whole shtick of cockery. I don't know which other way to put it. And yeah, they're selling these suckers out here. So they shipped 3 packs.
Selling those suckers out there, really? Just selling those suckers? Come on, Rob.
I mean, it's not.
I just want the metal straw. I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna order one anyways. So
apparently, suck a unicorn cock, save the planet. This is what it is. So shout out to them. As I have another mixed cocktail from Valentine Distilling. This one is the old fashioned, which I'm going to be sipping on this now. And I finished the snickerdoodle. So since we were talking about meads a little bit, well, this isn't a mead, this is a cider. From B Nectar is the Punk Lemonade, which is their hard cider with raspberry and lemon. So I'll be hitting on that. And actually, one real other quick shout out that I wanted to give. Super shout outs to Eric Elliott and Reputation Beverage. I placed out an order and they showed up, box on the doorstep. I got myself a nice little set of the Nitro Cold Brew Rocky Road, which, as most of you guys remember, as we had them on the show during Dry January, that this thing tasted very much like Rocky Road ice cream. I'm not even a fan of Rocky Road ice cream, but this as a cold brew is amazing. And they're doing a little bit of a charitable donation right now for a little girl out there in Michigan, the little town of DeWitt, where a little girl named Lily was going through some bouts with cancer and is fighting it, and they're getting some donations together. So they came up with another one, a Nitro Cold Brew Love for Lily, which is a caramel apple cold brew. And I just had this one this morning, and I was very, very impressed by that one. So definitely shout out to Eric and the Reputation team for putting that one out there. So meanwhile, sucking on a unicorn cock.
Wendy, what are you drinking over there?
So I am still going a little bit light tonight, but I went with the Bell's Black is Beautiful. Tapped into my network, so I didn't have to drive all the way over there. I had it delivered this week, and it's fantastic. It's a nice, good version of the Black is Beautiful.
Okay. All right. Well, as always with segment 2, it didn't play.
Here is Robert with the beer news.
So for those of you who are trying to figure out, I have like a little deck thing here that allows me to control the show without having to do too much maneuvering with the screens. But Robert, news, Tavor, code Robert, go.
Hey, does that thing give you the ability to like hit a button where it just gives you the pew, 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 pew,
I mean, technically, yes. I would just have to map it and download that, but
I just wanted to make sure and like be sure if like you get that one that there is another one that you get on there that just says another one.
This is going to turn into like that Family Guy episode where they have the radio show.
Yes. All right. Oh, by the way, did you know that you actually get a package with this thing to actually clean
We're still talking about these things?
Yeah.
Yes.
You get a package with it, Rob? Really?
Hold on. Time out. How did you not call it a condom for your unicorn cock?
Oh.
Damn, dude, missed opportunity with that one.
Like honestly, I think you just need to go now. Ed, do you want to take Rob's spot? I guess.
No, I don't want.
All right, I'm out.
Aww.
All right, Rob, here's your chance for redemption. Give us some news.
All right. Actually, we were just talking about a little bit about seltzers and how seltzers are taking off. There was an article that came across from westcoastersd.com that is talking about, actually from the headline itself, the future of beer may not be beer. And it goes into, I guess to kind of summarize it, it is talking about how the craze of seltzers have taken place and how breweries are moving towards making seltzers and how the seltzers are starting to kind of become more popular than their beers. And we're seeing a lot of seltzers that are coming out and that demand that is hitting where, you know, we've talked about it from between ourselves and from our own guests that seltzers give people that ability to have something where they can have something alcoholic, but it doesn't have the caloric content of, you know, a heavy stout beer or, you know, something else that basically something that's not a Mick Ultra 64 that actually tastes better than a Mick Ultra 64, but has you know, an equivalent or higher alcoholic content. And as these breweries are really starting to take, you know, go into this motion to make all of these seltzers, that this seltzer craze that, you know, I used to look at as kind of this laughing thing that, you know, I made fun of, you know, Matt Bush, that I thought these things were going to go away, that they were going to be, okay, they'll stick around for maybe 3 years and then they're gone. And we look at where we're at now, where we've gone from, you know, the craze and no laws with White Claws and, you know, White Claw shortages that have been happening to these breweries that have been putting these seltzers out. I mean, even my mainstay in Eastern Market Brewing is making 3 or 4 of these things. I guess the question to you guys is that with these seltzers and how these seltzers have really taken off and more demand has happened and these breweries have really started pushing more seltzers out there, are we going to see maybe in 5 to 10 years, could we be in a situation where it's almost weird to say it, but the GABF all of a sudden turned into the GASF? I don't know.
It's not going to be just seltzer if that's what you're thinking majority, but there's going to be a good number of seltzers out there from here on out. You'll know we jumped the shark when you get milkshake seltzers and barrel-aged seltzers.
Goose Island already has
too far.
Goose Island has a barrel-aged seltzer already.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. All right, so we've already jumped the shark.
Yep. And isn't the Holmes, don't they have like a milkshake?
Troubadour or something like that.
Yeah.
They
so we've already seen that.
Yeah. They had fruit to it. But I was talking to a few people, and they said, I was talking to some people because I noticed in the founders seltzers that I got, they sent us a pack and stuff like that to give
Charlotte Street.
Yep.
Yeah, Charlotte Street.
Their biggest change, I guess, is that they add fruit juice. So on the side of the can, because you have to, say how much fruit juice is in your product, it's 10 to 19% is fruit juice, and that's not the traditional like dry, crisp, no fruit juice, seltzer and stuff like that. So, like what Holmes is doing and what these barrel aged places are doing, there's no rules, so they can do whatever they want, So how are you going to make yourself stand out? How are you going to sell yourself in order to make it something different than what everyone else has? And we were kind of talking on the break a little bit, but or at the beginning of this segment, but trying the 50 or so seltzers I did, I think there's a definite difference between a brewery kind of like Oddside making their hard seltzers and having the flavors and doing all that stuff. And then the places that I also had, I'm not going to name them, but they would have a base seltzer, just a regular seltzer, and then they would add pumps of syrup. And then they would change then you could add flavor to each one. And I thought all of those were trash. I was like, this doesn't taste like that crisp part. It's just a sugary goodness that's trash. You know what I mean?
It sounds very Starbucky.
I know not to say if they're good or bad. I know 734 does it, but there was at the beginning of the seltzer craze, and what sucks is that they're no longer have a tap room, but Recolt Meads. They used to water down and seltzerize some of their meads, so you could take a really sweet, sugary drink and make it a little not more palatable, but more palatable for me because I don't want that super sweet mead style drink. Like I want something a little less, hit you hard on the nose. But like I wish some places like maybe B Nectar or maybe Griffin Claw with their cider program, or who's got Dom now, Eastern Market. I'm sure they're going to start tricking meads and getting that type of seltzer where I know Eastern Market's got their a little more sour seltzer line, at least over at Eastern Market, not necessarily maybe Ferndale Project, but I still think that I would love more instead of like faint flavor seltzers, something a little more flavorful like those Eastern Market ones.
Eastern Market was playing with tea as well. They were adding oolong tea to their seltzers to kind of make it just have that different notch and whatnot. And I don't know, like I was given the opportunity to make a Bet Around draft seltzer up at Stig's Brewery coming up here. We're gonna go get that next week. But have a collab where he was like, all right, you want to learn how to make hard seltzer? Come on up to my brewery. And so we made a hard seltzer. It's a pina colada. So hopefully it hits.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, hopefully it hits and bring the stuff down and we can have it and whatnot. But yeah, so that was like the cool thing of learning how it's done. But it's just whether you're adding real fruit or puree or whatever it is to make that sweetness or syrup. We're going that route.
And in regards to what Rob was saying, though, with
in regards
God
to,
damn it.
You almost had it, Ken. You almost did it.
With what Rob was saying with the GABF, GASF kind of like pun, they're going to have to add seltzer, which is considered a beer category to it, because I think just too many people make it to not make it. Like, it's not going to fit in the malt beverage category, the FMB category, because it's just not as flavorful. You're going with FMB, you're going with all the really whacked out crazy shit that we've seen within there. Like, you're going to go up against Not Your Father's root beer and Not Your Father's, Mountain Dew or whatever it's called.
Right.
Like that's the FMB category, and you're going to come in with a faint lime seltzer. No, like, it's just the flavor and the flavor profile aren't there. But I think once you create a BJC, I don't even know if you'll be able to create a BJCP for this, but I
think you would have to. With how many? I mean, you look at what Oddside has created with. They were doing 50 of them. You've got all these breweries that are making these different versions. Almost feel like they almost have to have their own festival and medal ceremony of sorts.
Well, I know we had a festival, a seltzer fest up here in Royal Oak at, I believe, the Royal Oak Music Theater in December. That was a seltzer fest. That was just straight seltzer, but I'm guessing that was probably ran by Rave or Fabiano Brothers or one of the big, importers. Whoever, Royal Oak Music Festival gets their beer from is whoever probably contributed to that festival. But with the GABFs, Extreme Beer Fests, we might see it, and this might be a good area for FOBAB, for people to start kind of playing around with FOBAB and start turning the seltzers into a little more barrel aged or open fermentation. I think there's a lot that you can do with seltzer and a lot to be had with seltzer. And I think it's one of those, the market will never be flooded because it's a lot more welcoming than the New England market, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think so too.
Well, that's a good point, because a lot of the breweries, I think, kind of picked up on it because it was a good way for them to provide non-beer options for people coming with their beer drinkers
without having to get a winemaker's license.
Right.
Because that's the big thing legally. And, it's not that it's not that hard to get a winemaker's license and not make wine, but, the whole process is a lot different, to where it's a lot easier just to make a seltzer as opposed to having to go in and make a cider or make a sizer or a mead or anything that's just not beer.
And seltzers don't take that long to make. They are like 2 to 3 weeks. If you have your system down and you know what you want, you know what your taste is, they don't take that long to make. So you can produce it a lot faster than, most beers and stuff like that. So, and most light beer options, you're not lagering it. You're not doing any of that stuff. It's just straightforward, hit the ground running and go. And a lot of places too are using fruits that they already are incorporating into beers. So they're not having to add something to their inventory list when they're ordering from wherever. So that's always a kind of a cool way to do it. Like, I'll just order more cherries, or I'll just order more peaches or whatever it is, because I use it in this beer or whatnot. So ultimately it's just helping out their product and going off the flavor profiles that they know exist out there. So,
right.
One of the things, go on, Rob.
Well, I was going to say that, going back to a lot of the earlier conversations that we had about this, I mean, in terms of a lot of the seltzers, in just really in local seltzers, that there have been so many that have been really good that, I mean, I was wrong. I mean, I probably shit on seltzers so much that I might have caused a toilet paper shortage. There was a lot that are out there, and really it was just kind of the national brands, the White Claws, the Trulies. I mean, there was no flavor for those, and it really didn't hit until I had the one from Liberty Street. Shout out to and his.
Yes, I remember that.
And really seeing the ones that were really out there that actually had flavor, and that actually kind of gets me a little excited about the possibilities that are out there. I mean, especially for me. I mean, I know for somebody that could see in this video that I'm a pretty hefty dude, and I would like to get to a point where I would like to still be able to enjoy, an alcoholic beverage, but not have the caloric content of a beer. And I'm finding these seltzers that are out there that I'm really starting to enjoy. So I'm sorry. Yeah, Matt Bush, you were right. I'm sorry.
Oh no!
Two parts.
Part out. You need to cut that part out.
One, I think.
Shit. except for the Truly and the White Claw, okay, you're good. But they're out there.
One, I think Jim earlier was talking about it, and I think that's a generational thing where we, as the next generation, the younger generation, are looking into more, calorie, not necessarily calorie efficient, but
intake.
We're looking more at our calorie intake. We're looking and we're caring about what we're drinking and what we're putting, not necessarily what we're putting in our bodies, but what calories we're putting in our bodies.
How much and all that.
But in our chat, again, you can find us on Better on Draft TV. We're on YouTube Live, 7 p.m. Eastern at Better on Draft. We're on Facebook Live, Better on Draft. We're on Twitch, BOD Podcast. That's BODPODCAST. Patrick Cady in our Facebook page is saying seltzers are just a fad.
I don't think so.
I thought the same thing.
A lot of people thought they were.
Thought the same thing. I'm just not sure anymore. I'm really not.
I'm nervous though. I think the comment, and I compared it in my initial post with Hard Seltzer Summer. I think I was nervous that it's going to be like Not Your Father's, because Not Your Father's and making the root beers and everything was crazy.
That went nuts.
Yeah, it did.
Breweries did it. It didn't matter. Everyone had a hard root beer, and now no one does.
I think the Not Your Father's didn't last as long as we think it did, because we're talking hard seltzers. We're talking the minimum over a year of this being a fad. Yep. Mind you, I remember tasting Clear Coast, which is Perrin seltzer. They brought it in a water fountain, like the little push water fountains, over at the Winter Beer Fest 2018 or 2019. Sorry,
I know No Rules Day.
Yeah, they had it No Rules Day 2019.
We were sucking those back on No Rules Day.
So with seltzers, I think Clear Coast was easily ahead of its time. And I think Oddside, the continuation and how fast these things sell. Because these things not only are, showing up on shelves all over the place with 23 or 24 different flavors, but they're falling off the shelf as fast as they're getting put on.
And I think the only thing that's going to carry the hard seltzer craze is what Rob was saying. It's the health benefits. I think that's the only thing that's going to, because we talked about this on the last and the last episode of 2019 when we were looking forward to 2020 and we're like, what's beer going to be for the next decade? And everyone except for me was like, it's going to be health conscious. It's going to be, the macro, what's coming in, what's coming out type of thing, calories and stuff. And I was like, no. And now I'm like, fuck yeah. This is going to be, the 100 calorie stuff. Like, yeah, drinking them all summer and still being able to work out and do stuff and not feel like shit after drinking, 3 or 4 of these instead of a 3 or 4 blow your face out or something like that. Like, I feel like I can still live life and do what I want to do and have a good time.
The benefit of not any hangover from them or very little hangover is a great part of it too, because
obviously you haven't had as many as I've had in some nights.
And you've still gotten a hangover though?
Because
I've knocked back 10 seltzers in a night and felt almost nothing.
Yeah, I've definitely finished. I have a 64, like a 64 ounce water bottle that I would just pour like White Claws in.
Oh, jeez. Were you adding vodka to it too? Or
no,
doing?
I wasn't. But the problem is that I was drinking them so fast, and I think that's where probably we didn't reach the same part, because I was when you're drinking them out of a water bottle, you drink them as fast as regular water, and
I'm not following professional drinking right there. You put water in between.
It is water, so it should hydrate you, right? I mean,
the thing for me. So I was in Fort Wayne for a LAM party, and I had finished 2 64-ounce things in like probably 2 hours. And how I got to my Airbnb, which I walked to, I will never know. But I remember waking up like 6 hours later and then like, I guess I can go back.
Oh, geez.
I feel like we need to market a water bottle now that says this may be water or it may be hard seltzer.
Never know. Unless that's the thing. When I was taking all my pictures over this summer, I'm like, God damn it, here's another clear liquid in the Better On Draft Cup. Like, goddamn. But some of them are pink. Some of them are if they're grapefruit, they're a little orange tint or whatever. I always found those to be like exciting because I'm like, oh, it's not clear,
So
I like that idea.
Going from the chat. Sorry to interrupt, Rob. Going from the chat, and I want to get your opinion, Rob. Ed. Just because we were kind of talking about it end of last year, you didn't agree with it. Patrick Cady in the chat saying he was just trying to shit on seltzers, which is fine. We all talk shit about stuff. A lot of craft breweries are hopping on the low-cal train. Do you think 2021 is going to have low-cal alternatives to a lot of beers? We've seen it with Lighthearted. We've seen it Dogfish Head, obviously, as he's mentioned. Do we think we're going to see a much more lower-calorie beer options?
I think so. I think Beards is coming out with one. They're doing low citranity or something like that. That one just came out. Heron has one, the low rise one as well. I think it is. I think if they're not going to join the seltzer train, they're going to try to figure out how to do a low cal IPA or something like that.
What about down in Arizona, Dan?
Yeah. As far as the low cal, now I haven't specifically come across anyone. I don't really go looking for the low cal beers, but you see them from the other parts of the country. Like you see the Lighthearted here is pretty popular. When it's around, you see that all the time. And like I said, the seltzers are a big thing. So, I don't know. I haven't seen too many making it, and I follow pretty much all the breweries in Arizona, so I don't know if it's as big here, but the stuff that comes here is selling out.
Yeah, I'd have to think that, I guess kind of for myself and Dan, we're as far as, all of us that are here, we're the old guard. We're the ones who like the styles that are out now, and that there's everybody who is coming into drinking that is going to prefer the lighter stuff. So here comes the Lighthearted. Hell, Dogfish Head might make a 15-minute IPA. I don't know, but there's a lot of the beers that are out there that I think with the lifestyles that are coming out and people getting into. As we've already alluded before about, healthier lifestyles, gluten intolerance, peanut allergies, because we got a whole lot of peanut butter beers that are out here.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be out here that are going to want alternatives. And Wendy already talked about it before, about going to a brewery and having options for the friend who doesn't drink beer. Like, going to a brewery that has gluten-removed beers, or, having seltzers or having meads where they can enjoy something that they like as opposed to what you like. And, you get a chance to be able to hang out together because it's not all just beer. And, we're kind of the older crew that I wouldn't say that, like, in a baseball sense that we're the elitist and we have the unwritten rules that, that there are the beers that we have to have and that we have to drink. But we can adapt as well. But at the same time, I want to have that barrel-aged stout. I want to sometimes occasionally have that super hoppy IPA, once every 6 months, because that shit is just too damn hoppy. But there's a whole lot of people that are out there that, we're going out with that they want to have other things. And it's just like this evolution of alcoholic drinking that is happening, that all of this stuff is coming out here that we have to adapt. Otherwise we end up like Borders.
Go ahead, Wendy. Go ahead.
For my 40th birthday, I did a beer tour with Michigan Beer Tours. And we got on a bus and drove to 6 different breweries to celebrate my birthday. And I probably could have put 15 more people on that bus if those breweries had offered something other than beer. So, I mean,
what about the NA option? I mentioned Beards earlier up in Petoskey, but I know it's up in Petoskey, but they're coming up with their low-cal stuff. But they jumped on and made Michigan hop water. So kind of like Lagunitas.
Yes, saw that.
Have a Michigan hop water to where they jumped. They didn't even do seltzers first. They did that. I think even that, given that hop taste a little bit, but having it be non-alcoholic, that would be great for your DD. You know what I mean?
I think the big thing to have is flavorful alternatives, even if you don't have non-alcoholic beverages. Like Dragon Mead's always had draft root beer, and a lot of places usually carry some type of sodas, whether it's Faygo or something in a can. I think it's important. Especially as a lot of us are being a little more, calling way back to what Jim said, when it comes to a point where if I know I'm not driving, fuck yeah, I'm going to drink. As long as I know I don't have to babysit people. Because that's the problem too, is that like people will start getting drunk a lot faster than I will, because they're doing shots and I'm drinking beer. I think it's, I'd hope that these places, along with making calorie efficient beers where it's more low cal, but more, not necessarily non-alcoholic beers. Like I don't need an NA IPA or NA lager, but if you're giving me something that's a little, like give me a craft orange soda, give me a root beer, give me something that I can't have somewhere else as long as it's not alcoholic. And I don't need 800 different flavors. I need 2.
No.
One of the things too is that I'm gonna give you guys a little something, because we're gonna go right into the game and then we'll end the show. So no second break. So if you need to go run and grab a beer, you got about a minute while I plug this. But Michigan Beer Map app is entering alpha next week. If you guys are an Android user and you want to try to use the Michigan Beer Map app, go to mibeermap.com. There's going to be a place for you to fill out a little Google form where you could sign up. This is only for Android users for next week. iOS users will be available in about 1 month. The map will allow you to search for, ready for this, Wendy, if a brewery has mead, cider, wine, spirits, guest taps, outdoor seating, if it's dog friendly for your little puppers. You're also going to be able to see, as you can see on the current Michigan Beer Map, which is at mibeermap.com, breweries that are opening, production only, so you don't go to a place that just doesn't have beer for you to drink, as well as closed within the 6 months, so you don't accidentally show up to somewhere that no longer exists. The beer map will be updated as we are updating. You'll see like a weekly update. Hey, here are all the openings, the closings, etc. So you know what's going on. This is going to be a free map too. Free app, free map, free everything. There's going to be no pay option. There's going to be no $1.99 option. It is going to be free, period. That is our gift to you, the fan of Michigan beer. I wanted to make something, and that's it. So Wendy, the next time when you have your 40th birthday for the 5th time, I have no idea how old she is, guys.
Wow, Ken.
Well, she said she was 40, so...
I turned 40 at one point.
Yeah, so 40th for the 5th time.
Which I have to actually throw out there. I said Michigan Beer Tours because I was in the heat of my point, and I really meant to say Motor City Brew Tours.
Motor City Brew
So I'm really sorry, Steve. You are my favorite brew tour operator.
He does have a podcast here on Better on Draft called The Beer Tour Guy. Go check it out. It's a little more businessy, which is great because you don't get the relaxation. You get a little more serious questions from there. So go check it out, Beer Tour Guy, on all your podcast needs. So the Michigan Brewery Map app will be coming out here in a week for Android in the alpha stage. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to.
Are you scared?
I am not so excited. I'm so scared.